DJ, and I'm going to show you today how to make sort of healthy scones. These scones, I kind of got them off line, and the ingredients weren't what I wanted, so I kind of like changed it around a little bit, and I took the sugar out of them because we like to eat sweet things, and I felt like with our health problems and health issues, high blood pressure and everything, that I needed to make something that was sugarless and a little bit healthier. So I'm going to start today with 3 cups of whole wheat flour, and I've already sifted the flour, so I will go ahead and get started here. And you also will need about 1.5 cups of butter.
Wait.
And I cut the butter into little chunks so that it's easier to work with. And just dump it in your flour and proceed to kind of work it with your little pastry. This is called a little pastry tool, I call it. But anyway, what it does, it mixes up the butter. You can also do this with your hand, but when you do it with your hands, the heat from your hands kind of melts the butter, so I kind of like to do it this way. So mash this and mash it until we get the butter mixed in with all the wheat flour. And you don't want to, I don't like to overdo it. Just make sure that you don't overwork your flour. You want your consistency to be like little pieces of butter, like little pea pods, because if you leave it fluffy like that and you leave the butter particles, that makes it fluffier when you cook them. They won't be tough. And now I want to just go ahead and add some more ingredients. I've dumped in 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. I will put in a tablespoon, and 1/2 of baking powder, and I have it right here. Okay, now my next ingredient will be a pinch of salt, and you just want to use a little salt, not too much. My next ingredient is going to be 2 tablespoons of orange zest. Alright, this is the orange zest that I'm going to use in my scones. And this instrument that I'm using it's called a microplane, and it's great for grating because it just makes it so smooth, and it doesn't go too deep because you don't want to grate it too deep. If you grate it too deep, then you'll get the white part of the orange, and it makes it bitter. But this is a perfect tool. I'm so glad I found this, and I use it for grating lemons, lime, orange. And for this recipe, I'm just going to use zest, and I'm going to put 2 tablespoons of that in there. And if you put a little extra, then that's okay, because I like the taste of the orange zest in there. And we'll just put that in there. Now my next ingredient, I'm going to add my dried fruit. And for this recipe, I use cranberries, and also I found some nice dried blueberries from my local supermarket. And I think the mixture of those two are going to be great. So this will be my next ingredient, the dried cranberries, 1 cup. Alright guys, my next ingredient is going to be 1/2 cup of dried blueberries. These blueberries are just so dark, and they're so sweet and so delicious. We're going to just stir it. I just need to stir it and mix all of this up, because you want to make sure that you get all the salt and all the dry ingredients mixed in. Get all your zest all mixed in together. And make sure you have all your dried fruit covered with the flour mixture. Alright guys, now that you have all the dried ingredients together, we're going to mix them together. Mix and mix till you get everything mixed together. A little chunk of baking powder there. And you don't need to sift your flour, you don't need to sift anything, and you don't want to work it too much. Just get all the ingredients mixed together. And once you get all your ingredients mixed together, you're gonna like make a little hole or a little well in the center of your dough, and you're gonna get ready to add your wet ingredients. Okay, my next ingredient, I'm gonna add 1.5 teaspoons of pure vanilla. Okay guys, I forgot a couple of my ingredients. The main thing that I like to put in my scones that make them taste so good is the nutmeg and the allspice. So at this point I'm going to go ahead and add a half a teaspoon of nutmeg, and I'm going to add a fourth of a teaspoon of allspice. This really brings out the taste when I put the allspice. And at this point, I'll just go ahead and mix it in there. It won't hurt anything. Just make sure I'm mixing it really well. Now that I have everything all mixed up and I went ahead and put the ingredients that I forgot, go ahead and make a little well in the center. And I'm going to start with my final 3 ingredients, which is the cream, the teaspoon and a half of vanilla, and the 1 cup of maple syrup. Just pour it all right in there, all together. Okay, at this time I like to get my cutting board, so I have my cutting board ready. I placed a little flour on it so that the scones don't stick, and I'll have it ready so that when I knead my mixture together, it's all ready to start kneading. At this point I'm going to get ready to stir my mixture. Stir it real well, get everything mixed together here. I put everything in the middle, and you just want to just mix everything, pulling everything from the side. You don't want to do too much mixing, because the more mixing that you do, the tougher the scones will be. And they're coming together really well. At this point I'm going to use my hands. I like to get in, I clean my hands, so I like to get in there with my hands and dump it on my board. Make sure you have enough flour in there, because on your board they are kind of. Also, I like to sprinkle a little flour on the top so that it doesn't stick to your hand. And you're just going to knead it about 2 or 3 times. You don't want to overwork it. Just get your flour in there. Mix it in. If you need to put a little more flour on your hands, just go ahead and feel free to do that. Knead it just a little bit. That's going to do it. Just one more time. And what I do is I go ahead and make a little ball. Put a little more flour on my hands. And I'm going to make this into 2 balls, because each little section will make about 8 scones. So I'll do this one, and then I'll do this one and set it aside. Put it back in the pan. Alright. And what you want to do now, you don't even need to use your roller at this point. I just use my hands to pat it out. About a 6 or 7 inch circle. Now I'm going to take the knife, put a little flour on the knife, and you're going to cut it in half. You want to get 8 scones out of this. So then you cut it into pie now once you have wedges. Them cut, I made a little glaze to go over them, which is just a little milk and some maple syrup, just equal parts. And you brush this on there, and this will make them brown really good. Plus it gives them a little sweet taste. And at this point, if you want to add a little more cinnamon, feel free to do so. But I think they'll be okay, because I have a lot of cinnamon and the allspice in the middle. Okay, now let's pop them in the 375-degree oven. Okay guys, I popped them in the 375-degree oven. I'll leave them in for about 18 minutes, and I'll come back and check on them then. Okay, they should be ready. They've been in another minute or so. The toothpick goes in comes up dry, and they're ready. Okay, the scones are ready now, and I'm gonna sit them there to cool for about 5 or 10 minutes. And my scones are nice and cool, and we're gonna sit them on the plate, and we're gonna have some scones and some smoothie. And you can also have a glass of milk. They taste delicious with tea, coffee. That one stuck a little bit. There we go. And bon appetit. Okay guys, we have here 2 simple recipes. We have the scones with whole wheat, no sugar added. We have the smoothie with fruit and no sugar added. 2 healthy recipes for your family. So enjoy. Until next time. Bye.